spearheaded the effort for the marquee restoration.
So we bought the building, remodeled it. Looks nothing like it used to.
The ugliest Christmas sweater I've ever seen.
Me too.
Happy 2022, everyone, joining the Mavericks podcast. I know typically we have them on Mondays. We kind of took off January just to, I won't necessarily say rebranding, but we are taking a look at how we're doing things, and there'll probably be some changes soon. But this is number 36. We started just around this time last year, and we are bringing on Melissa from Habitat for Humanity in North Central and North Iowa. I'll bring her on in just a second. But I want to talk a little bit about, of course, the sponsor, Alpha Roofing Company. They have worked with Habitat for Humanity, so I thought this would be a great chance to be able to highlight my sponsor. I appreciate them, and I've appreciated all their work they've done in North Iowa, in Central Iowa, Eastern Iowa as well. I know they've done a lot of work in Cedar Rapids after the 2020 derecho that went through, but they've done some things as well, looking at it from a homestand. So we'll probably highlight them a little bit as well. And we'll talk to Melissa about this too, since obviously this was a big part of what was going on in 2021 and into 2022 as well. So I'm going to bring in Melissa. Melissa. It sounds like Velisca and Melissa both in one. Melissa, welcome to the program. How are you?
Thank you. Good. How you doing?
Very well. So if someone doesn't know exactly the mission and maybe even a little bit of history of Habitat for Humanity and where it started, and then let's push into after that kind of what we're focused on here for your district.
Okay. Yeah, sounds good. So Habitat for Humanity, I know there's a lot of misconceptions about Habitat, or people might know a little bit, but not how it works. So I'll do a quick little description of it. So Habitat for Humanity has over 100 different affiliates in 100 different countries around the world. So all the different habitats are completely independent. So we are locally run here in North Central Iowa. We do have a 6-county area here. And locally here, we started in 1994. International started back in the 70s. And no, it was not Jimmy Carter. I should have asked you, I guess, who founded it, but everybody thinks it's Jimmy Carter. But he's a very involved volunteer still in his 90s. Pretty cool, him and his wife. But it was actually started by a gentleman named Millard Fuller back in the 70s. And Millard was a millionaire, a really successful businessman, but his marriage was falling apart and he wasn't happy. And so he went to a place in Americus, Georgia. Have you ever been to Americus or heard of it? It's like a couple hours from Atlanta. And that's where there was this communal farm. And in that little farm area, there were people helping each other with crops, and then they'd help their neighbor, and then they started building a house for each other and helping with their neighbors with that. And so he went there and then took that idea, created Habitat, sold his belongings, gave away the money with his wife, and him and his wife created Habitat, and their vision was always international. So they went right away to Africa and started doing projects there. And then organically, they've just been sprouting up all over the U.S. since then. So here since 1994.
So it's been 27 years, going on 28 now since we're in 2022, that we've had, and I call this an establishment, but we have great work from Habitat for Humanity in this area.
So yeah, hard to believe it's been that long, but yes.
Yeah, pretty amazing. Tell me a little bit about some of the projects you guys have been working on in the last year, 2 years, and maybe let's put a stop to, all right, the point when COVID started in March 2020 to now. What kind of projects have you guys been working on locally?
So we have our homeownership program, and then we do home repairs and ramps. So we can talk about whatever you want with that. So before COVID, we were working on a house. We actually were able to finish it. COVID happened. We continued working, but it just looked a lot different. We didn't have volunteer groups coming in. We just did a small scale staff and a couple people just really being careful. And then when everything shut down, we shut down, which included our store too, which we can talk about. But we took that opportunity, and I'm one of those people, you can make lemonade out of anything, and we actually got a lot done around our facility. So it was a chance where, have you ever been in our store, Chris? I think you have.
I have, yes.
Yes, you have. So we've been wanting to remodel for years. I've been here since '07 with Habitat. We moved to this facility in 2011, but we have been overflowing and we didn't have really a good intake area. It wasn't very organized. And so we took that opportunity when we closed the store for COVID for, was it 7 weeks? That we reorganized. We brought everything out. We moved all of our doors and windows to a different area, put a bunch of household things up on shelves. And then there was all these cardboard boxes that were maybe half full or quarter full that we had no idea what were in them. And so got all those out, cleaned things, organized, got clear totes. So now our volunteers and our staff know what's in them. So honestly, it was a chance for us to kind of reset around here and reorganize everything. And we did a lot of different things that way. We turned our live fundraiser into a virtual one. So we did that the last 2 years. And so we just kind of kept trucking along. We kept working on, we didn't want to go into people's houses for home repair, with COVID, obviously. Working on the new home was a little, we just made sure that there weren't people around in groups. So just kind of adapted like everybody else. I know it was a interesting time for everyone. So
yeah, I think about all the things that, or even if you think about how the world has changed since March of 2020 and how everyone has done a really good job of adapting and more importantly, innovating. You think about, and I'm getting off topic a little bit, but I think it's such an interesting concept that you brought up. Really great inventions and new processes and streamlined thoughts become more and more available because we're forced to have to change, right? Think
Right.
about all the inventions and all the things that changed after, or at least during and after World War II. And we kind of looked at the last 2 years or coming up on 2 years, how things have really changed. How have things changed for you guys? And I know you spoke on it a little bit about some of these virtual meetings or virtual fundraisers. Have things changed any more beyond that for you guys?
Well, like I said, actually, it was great that we were able to renovate the store as far as getting everything clean and organized, and that really helped us be more efficient that way. We got a new software that we were able to learn and use for our virtual fundraiser that we wouldn't have had the time to probably do, if it wasn't for COVID. And then the online meetings, I know I have quite a few colleagues, and I'm sure you've heard too, like some are just done with Zoom. They're not going to do any more Zoom. They don't care. But it really opens up a chance for us to meet with other Habitat directors or staff or whatever around the country, and even some of so we tithe with Habitat. We are a Christian organization, which not everybody knows that either, but we tithe 10% of money that is not designated towards helping with the international builds as well. But we're able to hear from them a little bit on what kind of work they're doing with the money. And it's just, I think it's been a really good thing as far as opening up the world. I'm a big picture. I love traveling. I love seeing things around the world, learning about cultures. I mean, that's all been a big part of my life. And so I think being able to connect with people all over the world through Zoom is something that wasn't as normal before. And now it is. And with our colleagues, we've had virtual conferences, even meeting with legislators, virtually. So I think a lot of that's been great. I really do. It gets old having 10 Zooms a day. I get it, but but it's been a good thing too. So
the nice thing is it's become so easy to use. If you use the platform Zoom, if you use Teams, if you use, I don't even know what else. There's probably other things out there, but those are the two main lines I know that I use. But you're right. It gives you a chance. And, sometimes we probably, and I'm sure you can say this, and I know I can. Sometimes I lean on Zoom. I'm like, you know what? I don't want to go that far. I'll just do Zoom. But it's helped us globally to be able to connect even further. If you look at, I'm doing a presentation tomorrow for NIAC and in Garner, and I'm focusing on social media. And to do part of my presentation, I had to look at how I got involved in social media and in computers. And I remember back in the 80s, as I'm sure you do, we were lucky to have a computer in your home. You were lucky even in the mid and late 80s to even have a computer in your school.
Right.
And I mean, nowadays you have it from your pocket. You can do so many different things. So one thing that we've been able to do globally is to be able to connect even more beyond just, your Netflix or your Facebook. I mean, we can literally sit on here, press a button and we can see us three-dimensionally really, really well. So, I mean, you have to look at that, of course, and I know you do, in a positive fashion, I guess.
Well, and even our board, because we are 6 counties,
Mhm.
and our board and our homeowner selection committees, we have credit committees. I can explain those things too if you want to, but it's allowed them to attend meetings that maybe they wouldn't have been able to. We have quite a few board members that are maybe retired and they travel, but they can still plug in. So it's actually helped our attendance at quite a few of our meetings because they can join that way. So
Yeah, I like that. And I think we're going to see more and more of that if you, not just for, Habitat for Humanity, but I think for other organizations, if it's nonprofit or for profit or if it's for city, you're, especially in COVID days, which I think is slowly we're getting back into the norm. If not, we're pretty much full head into the norm, but it's going to allow for more and more people to interact. One thing I want to touch on, Melissa, and again, I'm going to be going back and forth on this stuff.
yeah, no problem.
My sponsor, Alpha Roofing Company, for this podcast.
Yes.
We did a little bit of a shoot for them in part because they were connected with you guys for the house just off of South Federal. Where are you guys in the process of that home?
So first, I want to thank Alpha again because they are just amazing, and that was great that they came in and they donated their time and were able to get materials donated, and it just makes such a huge difference when we have community supporters like them that can help our program help more families by keeping it affordable. So we want to thank them very much, and I know I've been watching your podcasts, and just catching up on it, and I know that they've been a great sponsor for you guys, so we appreciate them. Right now, we are hanging the drywall in the house and it's just about done, and then we're going to have the drywall finishers come. We used to have volunteers do drywall finishing, which I don't know if you've ever had any experience with that, but it is an art.
I don't want to even go near it. Yeah,
it is definitely an art. So we have decided, and nationwide, a lot of habitats are hiring for that, as well as electrical, plumbing, obviously things like that. We don't have volunteers do, but so we're going to have them finish, and then we bring in more volunteers to get the flooring done and put in the cabinets, paint, do all the finishing work. So that'll be going pretty quickly, I think, from that point. So it's going really well. The homeowner is doing great on her hours. I don't know, should I explain the program, how it works a little bit, or?
I was going to say that, Melissa, that was going to be my next question. We always see the final product. If it's on some, I see a lot of Habitat for Humanity stuff within sports throughout the NFL, and you always see the final product, but I don't think you see from the very first step organizationally how you guys start and the whole process. So, can you kind of walk us through? It doesn't have to be a 10-minute, description of it, but just kind of walk us through of what that process is like.
Yeah, I'll try to do it in under 10, but it's a process. I don't know. So if somebody's interested, they call our office and we go through the program. There's 3 requirements, and this is something that is important because it's not a free house. We always say it's a hand up, not a handout, and that is truly the case from beginning to end. So we have people that call and think that they can get a house by tomorrow because they're getting evicted. They aren't going to be part of our program. So we go through the program with them. They have to have a need. They have to be willing to partner with us and then have an ability to pay. So we serve families that have a steady income, but they cannot get a bank loan. So maybe they have credit issues. They've had life circumstances. They've had things come up, but they have the desire to be homeowners, but they just can't get a bank loan. So that's where we partner with them. So they fill out an application. We have a credit committee, and it's a group of volunteers that have banking experience, and they look at their debt to income ratio. We don't go by a credit score, but we go by we don't want to get somebody into a home if they have too much of a debt load and it'll be a burden for them. So they do that first. If an applicant passes that stage, they go to our homeowner selection committee, and then, there you go. Look at that. That's awesome. So then at that point, the homeowner selection committee talks about their need and then their willingness to partner with us. So the need can be any of those things: structural issues, water issues, things like that, or it simply could be that they want to be homeowners but can't get a bank loan. That could be a need. This is the income guidelines. It's from 30 to 60% of the median income range, depending on the number of people in the family. And then their ability to pay. So they do have to have steady income. We do include, child support if it's reliable, as well as disability, things like that. The willingness to partner comes in with the sweat equity. Every adult has to give 250 hours of sweat equity Friends and family can help with half of that. Things like that are helping work on the house. They can help in our store. They take financial literacy classes, so budgeting, things like that. Also, home maintenance classes. We do landscaping classes. Just want to make sure they're successful later on. All that counts towards their sweat equity. So then homeowner selection committee talks to them about all this. And then if they get approved, we call them, which I just got to call a family right before I got on with you and tell them they were approved, which is so much fun. And then right before that, I got to do an orientation. Once they're approved, they come in, we go through a bunch of things with them, what the house is going to be like, what to expect, get them on their hours. It takes time. 250 hours when you work full time, have kids, it takes a while. So we just had a meeting with a new homeowner, and I just got to call a homeowner and tell her congrats. So these are huge benefits of my job, which I absolutely love. And then we're going to start working on their homes. So that's how the basics work. And then they get their sweat equity in. Once the house is done, and we do renovate, so either renovate or new construction, then we could become the bank. Habitat does, basically. So we follow all the same banking laws. We give them a mortgage. We do 0%, which if you've ever bought a house, that saves the whole cost of the house again, Yeah,
it does.
Sometimes we're able to partner with USDA, and they might have a very low interest, but so far we've done all 0%. And then they pay low monthly payments throughout the life of the loan until they have it paid off. So we just make sure that they're affordable, 30% or under their income, so that it's not too much of a burden for them. And hopefully they're successful. Once they've taken the classes and all that, then they can. And we've had quite a few homeowners now pay off. So we're working on our 53rd homeownership family that we're working with that are going to be homeowners. So the one that you heard about with Alpha is our 53rd one.
So typically, Are you getting in about 2 homes a year?
It's between 1 and 5. It's been since I've been here. This is my 15th year, which I can't believe it's gone fast. So we've done anywhere from 1 to 5, depending on the funding that we have, the families that come in, what kind of lots we have available, things like that. But we just got a grant, and we're excited. We're going to be doing 4 more in the next 2 years, and then we're finishing the one that we're doing right now. So
that is so.
Awesome.
Yeah, there's a lot of dollars and cents, lots of sweat equity. As I like that. Where is the funding coming from? I know you guys do fundraisers. I'm sure there's government grants that you guys have to apply for every single year. Where is the funding coming from? Your budget?
Very good question. And actually, I'm glad you brought that up. We do not get money from the Habitat International organization. So people can donate to them. That's awesome. It helps the international builds and, different support and trainings that we're able to get, but we have to raise it all locally. So we have to do fundraisers. We write grants. The Restore is a huge opportunity for us to be able to fund our projects. And also we don't really get a lot of government funds either. We can apply for down payment assistance on projects when we close on a house. We don't know if we're going to get it. It's based on the family's income until the end. So we have to plan that we're not. And then if we get it, it's great. It helps us to keep going. But that's why we have to do fundraisers, which we have one coming up. I can tell you about in a minute if you're not familiar with it. But yeah, that's how we do it is grants. We do a mailing once a year. Typically we do a mailing end of year. So it's all locally raised and locally spent. So yeah.
Before we get into the events, because that'll be my next question, let's hit on the Restore. If people aren't aware, which I'm sure most people have at least heard of the Restore, tell us a little bit about it,
sure.
How it helps Habitat for Humanity, all of that good stuff, Melissa.
Yeah, so the Restore is really fun. It's a home improvement store, basically, open to the public. Everything is donated that's in there, and the money goes to help us keep going with our programs and projects. So we sell things from like doors to windows to toilets to vanities to antiques. We've had lots of furniture, home decor. We've had some really cool, unique things. We've had sailboats, quite a few of different boats. We've had a tanning bed. We've had a JFK newspaper collection. We've had, oh my gosh, I don't even know. We've had so many things. A lot of exercise equipment we get in, tons of decorations, like I said, estates, if somebody goes into a nursing home, sometimes we'll get a whole house full of stuff, pretty much everything but clothes. And we don't take like half gallons of paint. We have full gallons of paint. If somebody gets a gallon and they don't think the color is what they were thinking, they can bring it to us. So a lot of that kind of stuff, a lot of new things from contractors, hardware stores. When they close out of a certain brand, they'll donate to us. We just got a big shipment of things from Florida Ceiling Store. When they clear out brands at the end of the year, we get a bunch of awesome flooring. So we have really great supporters throughout the area that bring stuff into us, as well as people, like so many people listening probably have a door in their garage they were one day going to put in and never did. Bring it to us. We'll give you a tax receipt. So it's a fun store. It's different every day. We have great volunteers that help us in there. We always need more volunteers too. So but yeah, that's the basics of the store. It's open to everyone, and anybody can donate, shop, or volunteer.
So the volunteering is going to be an important part, I think, for you guys, as it always is for any nonprofit. We'll hit on that after the next question, but let's look at the events. 2022. What does it look like? How are you guys fundraising? How can people help? How can an organization like me or a business like myself, how can we help you guys?
So we used to have an event called Hammers and Heels. Have you heard of that?
I have.
Okay. So that we haven't had for 2 years because of COVID, but we're doing it again this year. So we're excited. It's a fashion show where the designs are made out of construction materials. So it's a lot of fun, and it's going to be at the Surf this year on April 28th. So that'll be coming up. It's the last Thursday of April. And it'll be at the Surf. We have 11 businesses signed up so far that are making designs. We have area banks and businesses around the area. And they make these crazy, fun, beautiful outfits. If you see them from a distance, you think they're real dresses or sometimes suits and stuff. And then you get up closely, and it's duct tape and wire and tile and all these really creative things that they use to make these designs. So that'll be a fashion show. We do auction. So we are looking for auction items. So gift certificates, just items that we can put together for either the live or the silent auctions. And then we have food and drinks, and it's just a really fun night out. So buy tickets and come. We don't have tickets for sale quite yet, but we will in the next few weeks. So that is an opportunity. And I don't think that she's had it on her homepage yet.
Oh, it's this
So
way.
hopefully I'll be on soon.
I'm coming up to my next question. That's why I had to go to this.
Oh, okay. So yeah, and we've done the last 2 years, we did a virtual fundraiser instead, just not being able to get people together. And that was where people could make homes out of anything they had in their house or business. So they made little homes out of popsicle sticks. A lot of kids got involved, made it out of, whatever, all kinds of things, recycling cups. We had a huge castle made out of recycled things. That was really neat. And then they shared their pictures online to raise money from friends and family. So we were able to pivot and think of a fun, different, unique way that people could do something safely at home. And it actually was a lot of fun. So we might do that one every other year because it was a more family oriented type thing. And then the Hammers and Heels is more of like a adult night out kind of thing. So
Anyone that's listening or will be watching this, and if they hear about the Hammers and Heels, how can, you're not going to be able to fit 10,000 people in Surf if everyone wants to come out, but say people don't want to necessarily come out for that, because you're probably going to get a good crowd. Maybe I'll even be there, but
hopefully you better come out. Come on.
I would love to. I would absolutely love to.
Good.
How can others, donate their time? How can they donate money? Are there ways beyond just being there?
Absolutely. Have them just call our office, which our number should be on there, 424-8978. We're trying to collect auction items right now. So like I said, if people go to restaurants, they go, hey, would you consider donating a gift certificate to Habitat for Humanity for their fundraiser? Things like that, oil change, they go to get their car fixed, whatever, just kind of thinking out of the box. Hosting parties is a really fun thing that people love to bid on for the live auctions. So unique ethnic foods or experiences, a day on the farm, a flight, a airplane ride, different things like that, horseback riding, just things that people maybe can't do on a normal basis are really fun. So if somebody's willing to donate something like that, then that would be amazing. That'd be a huge help. Anything like that, even making a dessert a month that they'd be willing to donate to somebody, or all kinds of ideas like that people can help with, or just donating money if they can't make it. Maybe they could send a check instead. Hey, we can't make it, but is this the cost of the ticket? We'll buy, send you $50 instead. So there's
this Give Now probably is a good spot, right? Before I ask you some questions about what the heck you were doing there. Looks like there's some donation locations.
Yeah.
But yeah, folks that are watching this or will at some point, just go to the website and surf around. It's a very easy to use website. And, I remember talking to Melissa, her and you and I were trying to go back and forth, trying to get you on the program. Just with COVID and everything else, our busy lives. It's been a little
busy. Where you had a storm one night, and then you guys got sick. Yeah, there's been a lot going on.
Yeah. What was going on in this picture? I saw this. I'm like, this is
That is
fantastic.
so not me normally. So I know it looks like I'm out there on the construction site. They usually don't let me do things like that, but
They wouldn't let me
I
either. I'll tell you that. I would
No.
not. They would be like, you don't look right in that, Chris.
no, my marketing gal was like, hey, let's put construction pictures on it. Yeah. So no, it was just a fun day. So our board president is Jennifer Breister, who runs Crown Point Builders in Garner, and North Iowa Kitchens. She's awesome. I don't think we have all the board pictures on there, but she's our board president.
Yep.
So she had the skid loader out there. We were building in Garner last year. So we finished a house in Garner last year. And I was on a Saturday driving with my daughter, and we went to go check on how things were going, see if they need anything. And so my daughter said, oh, someday I'd love to drive the skid loader. And so she probably shouldn't say this out loud. She let my 13-year-old get in there. And so she has a picture of her doing it, and she had a blast. And then they looked at me, they're like, do you want to do it? I'm like, yeah. So they let me in there. So I was able to drive around the site and stuff like that, but I don't typically do the construction. So it's just a fun picture. They let me get in there and ride it around, but I am not normally. I do go to the job sites, welcome the volunteers, and I do different stages along the house, but I'm typically stuck with piles of paper in my office. So
I know you're a busy woman.
no, everybody's busy, but that's,
yeah, I mean, I've worked with a lot of different executive directors for nonprofits, and that job is difficult. Tell me your favorite part of the job and the most challenging part of the job of being ED for a nonprofit.
I love it. To be honest, I love it. I've always worked at an organization where I feel like I'm giving something. So I taught for a while. I was working with kids and helped kids travel. So that was another thing. And then I worked at Unite Away, and then now I've been with Habitat for 15 years. But it's hard to work at a nonprofit where you feel like you're getting so much out of it every day and you're rewarded. I can't imagine doing anything else. So there's a lot of good things I love. I love our staff. I love our volunteers. Volunteers want to be here. I'm not paying them to just show up because they want to help. So to work with people like that every day, it just is very rewarding. And then our families, getting to know our families that we work with, their kids. I've got pictures in my office that they draw us, to thank for their bedrooms and just to see how excited they are. So I don't know that I could pick one favorite because there are so many things. I've had the opportunity tonight. I think I told you right before this, we had an orientation with a new partner family that we just selected. So to sit down with them and explain the process and see how excited they are. I love it. So, and it changes so much of their lives. A home is more than just four walls. They have stability. Their kids do better in school, better chance of graduation. There's health things that happen once they move into the home. A lot of them are getting sick all the time. So just seeing their changes is huge. I don't know. I mean, there's frustrating things, I guess, with any job. There's just a lot. It's busy. I work with the finances. I work with the budgeting stuff. Our board is great, but there's a lot of stuff to prepare for meetings. There's a lot of oversight. There's human resource stuff, fundraising. I guess I don't know if there's one thing that I absolutely don't like. I really look forward to coming here every day.
Well, let me restate that. Then there's a question for my operations manager too that I want to get to. But if
Sure.
there's one thing that you could change in any process or anything within Habitat for Humanity, if it's locally or if it's nationally or internationally, what would it be?
I would love 10 more staff. How about that? So yeah, I mean, you're a nonprofit, so you try to operate on a shoestring budget, but I don't have just one person doing the marketing or just one person working with all the families or one person doing all the finance stuff. We have, people we work with, but there's a lot of different hats that we wear, and that's just part of and I'd love to give the restore 10 more people and the construction guy 10 more people. I wish I had enough that I could hire a lot more, but keeps the days busy. So I guess that'd be one thing.
We met Bert.
Yeah.
We met him. I think the day it was kind of a rainy. Oh man, it must have
when
been
you were
bad.
doing the film for the video, which by the way is awesome. I love the commercial that you did.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean,
it's really good.
Very easy to do when you have a great place to do that with, good people to work with, and of course, it's nice to be able to get some of the alpha guys out of the office and give them a hard time. But Let me ask you this, Melissa. This is from Christina. Do any of the homeowners ever share their stories on your website or social media to help share the process or success
Absolutely.
stories?
Yes, they share their stories all the time. I don't know that we have a lot on our website. We try to be cognizant of having their kids' photos out there all the time, things like that, I guess. But we do Facebook posts. KMT shows up, or the Nelson would show up, or the Globe would show up, or we have different groups that show up and try to do stories, and we love that. So we would love if you ever want to come to the job site. Our homeowners are willing to share their stories, which is great. And then we do talk to them about that during the process. Hey, that's part of it. People don't want to support a 2x4. They want to know about the families. So our families are always sharing their stories during the process. Once they move into a home, we just try to respect the privacy, I guess, and not always have their pictures of their kids and everything on the website all the time, if that makes sense. But they're very open to sharing their stories during it. And we've had them come up on our fundraiser, and we've had some mortgage burnings the last several times that we've done it, and they share their story about why they applied for a home. And then we actually get we burned their mortgage once, and then we weren't allowed to do that in a facility. Fire, and I don't want fire at a live event. We get it. But so then we started shredding mortgages, at our events, and they tell their stories. So yeah, our families definitely share their stories a lot, which is great.
Well, good. We're at about 30 minutes. I told you this was going to go super fast. Final thoughts. Can you talk a little bit about some future projects? Where, if it's going to be Mason City, if it's going to be, I know you have a 5-county radius. Are there other spots you guys are looking? Can you give us a little bit of in-depth analysis of what's going to happen in 2022 and maybe even in 2023?
Sure. So we have 6 counties. Yeah, actually.
Or 6, I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. And so we're going to do, we're finishing this one, and then we have 4 more that we're going to be doing in the next 2 years due to this grant, which is awesome. So that, and then trying to plug in the home repair projects and ramps when we can. So those are a lot of aging in place type repairs, people that live in their homes that can't, they own their homes, but they can't maintain them, or they need help to fix them because they want to be handicap accessible. They want to stay in their homes, not go to a nursing home. So adding grab bars, ramps, making bathrooms, handicap accessible for them, as well as more energy efficiencies, adding, replacing windows and things like that. So we'll just kind of keep plugging along with that. We're always looking for contractors to work with also. Bert is an amazing coordinator. He's been working with several different contractors in the area. We're looking for more that could even we would hire, but to do a home repair project here or there, or help oversee a job site with some volunteers, things like that. Or, we want to help more and more families. So we need more people involved. And throughout the 6 counties, it's hard for Bert to drive, maybe all the way down to Hampton, and then to Clear Lake, and then to Forest City, and then to Northwood. So if anybody, I know you have a big reach of an audience. So if anybody is out there that's willing to get involved, just give us a call and we'll plug you in. And if you aren't comfortable doing construction, then you can supply cookies on a Saturday for volunteers, or make lunch, and things like that are very popular too. So.
And yeah, we'll have to talk about this because this is obviously a live. This will go on as a live, but I think tomorrow I'll put a link to the YouTube. We stream this out to YouTube as well, and it's kind of a final link to it as well. So we can kind of talk about if there are certain needs that you guys want that I can put along with that link too.
Yeah, that'd be great. So there's ways for anybody to plug in if they want to help in the store. It's a really good place too for people that are maybe stuck in their homes, they're retired, but they're still wanting to be active and see people and do things. They can come out once a week, once a month, and just volunteer in our store. It's a lot of fun, and they get to know people, and it truly is like another family for us, for our volunteers. We're just really all there for each other. It's a lot of fun. We don't take ourselves too seriously. We have cake a lot, pizza. We just have a lot of fun. You got to do that when you spend as much time as you do at work, more than home probably, for most people. So we love to have volunteers plug in, and there's lots of different ways, whether it's choosing our families, helping with the store, or on the site. Or
good.
Other things. Yeah. Job. Yeah. So at the fundraisers. So.
Well, first off, thanks for being on the program. We made it about 35 minutes.
That's good. Yeah.
We obviously I knew you'd be able to talk. I didn't have any issues whatsoever. I think we had a lot of good information. If there's anything that we missed that you're thinking that you want to do anything with after, if there's, I forgot this, just message on the bottom so everyone can see, I forgot about this, within the live. But if you need personally any help from Nelson Media, you contact us. We will help in any way that we can going forward. So
that's awesome. Thank you so much. We really appreciate that. Like I said, we don't have a big budget for marketing and we just kind of make our way through it. So we might take you up on that, Chris. We appreciate it.
Sure, Melissa. Thank you. And let me know about April as well. And I'll be following some of the stuff on social media as well for Hammers and Heels. I almost forgot what it's called. April 28th, correct? Is that a Saturday?
It's a Thursday night.
It's a Thursday night. Perfect. I'm usually gone. A lot of times I'm gone on weekends to go see my son. So if that's a Thursday night, I think definitely we would love to be involved in.
That'd be great. Well, I thank you for all the different podcasts that you do and for featuring all the different agencies and businesses. It's fun to learn about all the other ones too. And thank you for this opportunity to explain Habitat. So
you bet. Thank you, Melissa, and take care.
You too.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.